Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. An investigation is underway after an explosion at a plant in Bradford County, Pennsylvania, sent several people to the hospital this morning. Jamie Holmes has the latest.
Emergency personnel rushed to Global Tungsten and Powders in Towanda around 9 this morning after a report there was some sort of hydrogen explosion. Global Tungsten makes metal powders. 5 people, including 4 employees and 1 contractor, reportedly were injured and sent to local hospitals. While the exact cause of the explosion is not yet known, GTP released a statement saying the company is investigating. In the statement, GTP says those in the hospital have been evaluated and their injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. The company has contacted the employees' families and the contractor's employer and says it will provide ongoing assistance as needed. The company in Bradford County, Pennsylvania says the area has been secured and there are no additional risks of more explosions. For Big Fox News, I'm Jamie Holmes.
Eduardo Oropalo's trial is in its 3rd day. The Elmira police officer is in court for his alleged involvement in Gary Strobridge's death in August of 2019. Oropalo was charged with assault in 2020 in connection to the death after he allegedly pressed a foot on Strobridge's neck in a hospital. Charging documents in the criminal case describe Oropalo as, quote, striking Strobridge's face against the hospital floor, which is referred to as a dangerous instrument. Strobridge's family has filed a lawsuit against the Elmira Police Department. Thousands of people are still without power in the Twin Tiers. According to New York State Electric and Gas Corporation, more than 2,000 customers in Tioga County are without power. And in Broome County, more than 13,000 don't have power after this week's snowstorm. NYSEG recommends customers experiencing outages sign up for alerts on their website. The FDA is asking New York to help in their investigation into claims people became ill after eating Lucky Charms. The agency updated its investigation page to include the cereal probe for the first time. The FDA is also asking for assistance from Michigan, Kansas, and Arkansas. The agency says illness claims have increased from 100 to 231 in a week. General Mills insists the illnesses are not linked to their products. Some people who said they became ill say they've received coupons from General Mills. More vaccine options could be coming soon as masking confusion continues following a federal judge's ruling. Charles Watson has more.
COVID cases are on the rise in the U.S., but there could soon be more options to protect us. Drug maker Novavax saying Wednesday its combination vaccine targeting both COVID-19 and the flu showed promising results in early trials protecting against both viruses. Just hours later, Moderna announcing by the end of the month it will ask for emergency use authorization for its vaccine for kids 6 months to 5 years old. Doctors are welcoming both announcements and urging Americans to keep up with their booster shots so the country can avoid another surge.
Herd immunity is going lower, and then vaccine immunity is also waning to a certain extent. And then there's the big reason, which is the Omicron variant.
And as health officials work to stop the spread, the Biden administration says it will appeal a ruling striking down a nationwide mask mandate for public transportation. The CDC made the request on Wednesday, asking for the mandate to be reinstated while it studies more data. The White House also says the appeal is about more than just this pandemic.
For current and future public health crises, we want to preserve that authority for the CDC to have in the future.
Most Republican lawmakers pushing back on that claim, saying the administration is exceeding its authority.
The Biden administration just needs to go along with the courts, go along with the wishes of the American people, and move away from these mask mandates.
Homeland Security also extending a vaccine requirement for non-citizens entering the U.S. through land crossings. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
There are currently 2 recreational marijuana petitions that have been filed with the Arkansas Secretary of State. Now, supporters of the legalization of marijuana are canvassing across the state in hopes to get enough signatures to get the issue on the November ballot. The group Arkansas True Grass is collecting signatures for their petition, the Arkansas Recreational Marijuana Amendment of 2022. In the amendment, anyone over 21 would be able to grow up to 12 marijuana plants in their home.
Cyber experts are sounding the alarm about the increasing threat of hackers doing major damage to serious infrastructure. Security pros say hackers see an opportunity to team up with hostile states friendly with Russia to wreak havoc on NATO allies, including the U.S. Mark Meredith has details.
We removed malware from devices used by thousands of mostly small businesses, and then we shut the door the Russians had used to get into them.
FBI Director Christopher Wray says Russia's malicious actions extend far beyond Ukraine and into cyberspace.
It's really that perfect storm.
Mark Ostrowski is the engineering head at cybersecurity firm Checkpoint Research. He says it's clear cyber attacks are on the rise and that hackers, often backed by state-sponsored groups in China and Iran, feel more empowered now than at any other point in history. Checkpoint reports hackers are also increasingly targeting NATO countries, with a nearly 120% uptick in cyber attacks within the last few months.
It's actually probably more than what is being reported.
Sergio Caltagirone is a former hacker for the NSA who now serves as vice president of threat intelligence for Dragos, a cybersecurity organization. He believes hackers are increasingly focused on attacking U.S. industrial systems.
Nuclear sites, we're seeing a dramatic increase in the rise of attacks against manufacturing. Oil and gas continues to be a major target.
These screenshots given to Fox News show how hackers are using the war in Ukraine as a lure, targeting individuals with military and law enforcement backgrounds by posting fake security jobs.
Both cyber criminals and state-sponsored criminals effectively are working together in a different way than they have before.
You got to stop these attacks, right at the front door and prevent them.
And there's a new warning out from top U.S. cyber officials who say cyber criminals from around the world are teaming up with Russia to attack the U.S. and its allies. Experts say this is all an attempt to show loyalty to Russia. At the Pentagon, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Best Buy has a takeaway hauling service for your old and unwanted electronics. Old TVs, computers, laptops, printers, even other items like washing machines can be hauled away for $199. Only 2 items can be large, but there's an unlimited number of smaller ones you can dispose of. Best Buy will take items to trusted centers for repurposing, repair, or recycling.
Alyssa Triplett is in next with your complete forecast. Plus, Jamie Holmes will join us once again with more news from around the nation. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, snow no more. As we saw rain showers push through, any lingering snowfall definitely melted down. Binghamton's the only place that might see a little bit of snowfall for your Friday morning before warm temperatures and sunshine will get rid of pretty much everything that does linger even after that impressive snow system midweek. Overall, looking at even snow depth that was recorded this morning, Binghamton had about 8 inches on the ground, but just seeing there, maybe a few inches left over. If anything, it is going to be just a trace, and it's going to be those snow piles that will continue to melt, as we do have a pretty quiet forecast ahead for us as we head into the weekend. Overnight, we will see that any showers that linger across the area should dissipate. We'll watch those temperatures fall within the 40s under some clearing skies and as well as some calmer winds. So a little brisk tomorrow morning, but definitely not as bad as what we saw earlier this week with that snowfall in the cooler air. And what we'll turn to is some warming temperatures near seasonal for the weekend, as we will stay under mostly sunny skies for your Friday. Now, we could be tracking a few showers late Friday, potentially even working into more of a Saturday morning event, but it is going to be very isolated. All associated with the warm front that is going to be starting to edge its way into the northeast, especially by Saturday into Sunday. That is going to still help for some warming temperatures. So that's where you want to look for that warm up, potentially looking at above average for a short period before a cold front will swing through and we will return to below average temperatures. So rolling through forecast, overall not too much to watch for. Again, Friday we'll see that if any cloud cover does linger, should move out of the area. Maybe a little bit of cloud cover to the south of Elmira due to that shower potential. This is Saturday, Friday night, Saturday morning, so most of that shower activity is remaining off to the south of us, but any slight change in that model trend will give the area a chance for some of those showers, especially where that warm front will set up. It does stall out for your Friday as well as into Saturday, but it is going to push through, and when it does push through, that could increase the rain chance from time to time, but overall expected to stay partly cloudy as we step into that Saturday forecast. forecast where we could shake out a shower or two. So when it comes to your Friday, high temperatures looking to be just on par for average, maybe slightly cooler than average, as we do see Wayland at 56 degrees, Elmira at about 60 degrees, which an average for this time of the year is about 62. Binghamton about 58 for your Friday. Stepping into that Saturday forecast, but this is where we'll start to see a slight warm up. That's that warm front that will be in proximity, helping to jump those temperatures up just a few degrees, but with cloudier skies, it will restrict some of that warming even with a warm front in place. But the good news is that we are at least back towards what average is for this time of the year, which an average low is even about 36 degrees, will hold to about 39 in Elmira and Corning, and then an average high of about 62 degrees just on the mark there before we will start to talk about some changes. Now, look at this change, 20 degrees. There's finally the warm front that will edge into the area. Give us a quieter Sunday, but late Sunday into Mondays where we'll have a chance for some showers. Some instability could build, bring us a rumble of thunder as we hang on to nearly 80 degrees on Monday, but we are dwindling back down 60s, 50s, and even by next week on Thursday, we could be back into the 30s with a wintry mix.
Inflation and consumer prices are taking a toll on our wallets and our mental health. Cheryl Casone has more.
For many Americans, finances have become a difficult subject thanks to U.S. inflation numbers hitting a 40-year high and soaring gas prices.
The math is devastating, particularly at the gas pump or if you're trying to buy a used car. That's where people are getting just absolutely hammered. We're noticing it at the grocery store.
Personal finance expert Dave Ramsey and mental health expert Dr. John Deloney raising awareness about the correlation between financial wellness and mental health.
We were all just completely stressed out, and our emotional gas tanks got empty. We were depleted during this whole pandemic process, and then we get hit again with inflation. It's hard to keep our head up and hard to keep fighting through.
It doesn't surprise me when I see the stats that 70% of Americans are stressed, the anxiety rates are going up, the depression rates are going up. None of that surprises me when I look at the ecosystem that we're living in.
Ramsey says successful personal finance consists of 80% behavior and just 20% head knowledge. And he encourages changes in everyday thoughts and actions.
Save for a positive force, the future idea that I'm going to build wealth and pleasure, and that's a much better motivator for saving.
Ramsey and Deloney say Americans have a hard time with saving, primarily due to our psychology.
The idea that there's something about growing up that's tied to the ability to put off pleasure.
We live in an ecosystem that sets us up to be scared and frightened and on alert at all times. And when our brain goes on alert, when we get scared, it actually trades accuracy for speed. It trades the quote-unquote right decision for the easiest, quickest one.
So next time an ad for a potential purchase catches your eye, you might want to think twice.
And so we're chasing safety, we're chasing fear in all the wrong places, and we look up and we have a pile of debt, a pile of shiny toys in our house that we don't even want or need, and we find ourselves in a mess.
Cheryl Casone, Fox Business.
There's an unusual problem in one Colorado city. People are cleaning up after a tumbleweed invasion. Spencer Joseph has the story.
Tuesday's windstorm is causing a few issues in Eagle Mountain. And well, you might say the city of Eagle Mountain is having a little bit of a tumbleweed problem.
Tumbleweeds are a twice-a-year occurrence here in Eagle Mountain.
The city does know this is going to happen.
And it typically takes place in the spring and the fall. We're prepared, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't take the community by surprise, and that's what we're dealing with. We often handle and oversee the disposal of multiple tons of tumbleweeds.
But some streets were even completely blocked in Tuesday's tumbleweed turmoil.
You don't quite understand how much that is until you are actually in the process of cleaning it up. Our streets crews dedicate hours and hours and hours to assessing tumbleweed situations and communicating with our residents to make sure that they know how to properly dispose of them.
Okay. One of those residents.
Yeah, have you seen the hole behind?
Is Alexis Erickson.
No need to landscape, we're going for that desert look.
You might say she's a bit of a newcomer, only moving in last week.
Never would imagine my new house would be covered in tumbleweeds.
At first, she just tried to throw them out.
But our little can only did about, one load before it was full.
Now she's resorting to something a little more combustible. The city suggests either getting a burn permit or they give vouchers to the local landfill. But there's a third option.
One of the things that our residents have often done is they'll put the tumbleweeds on Etsy and sell them as an interior design item, and I know that a lot of folks have found some success there.
So whether it's selling, burning, or dumping,
Oh, jeez.
it's a cleanup that's unusual, to say the least.
That's something different.
In Eagle Mountain, Spencer Joseph,
It's its own brand of special.
Fox 13 News,
And sharp.
Utah.
A decline in online food orders has Grubhub's future in jeopardy. Earnings news is coming in better than expected, and another major food company reporting shoppers are willing to pay more for its higher-priced brands. Cheryl Casone has today's business briefs.
Online food ordering company JustEatTakeaway.com is considering a sale of Grubhub, facing pressure from investors to ditch the platform. The company bought the U.S. delivery platform for $7.3 billion barely a year ago. But Grubhub has seen declining orders following a boom during COVID-19 lockdowns. It's been facing growing competition from DoorDash and Uber Eats. American Airlines saying second quarter capacity will be better than the same period of 2019. Company will also return to profitability in Q2. United Airlines also expects this to be its first profitable year since 2019. This as domestic flight bookings are slipping in April as airline ticket prices are now more expensive than they were before the pandemic. Consumers spending a collective $3.4 billion in online bookings for airline tickets in the first 15 days of this month. Well, Tesla is reporting a record winter quarter. The electric car company predicting it will produce more than 1.5 million vehicles this year, up 60% over last year, though it still expects production to be below capacity because of supply issues. And Nestle says its sales at the start of the year rose more than 7.5%. The number excludes business in Russia, where it has halted some sales. Nestle raised its prices by more than 5% in the first 3 months of this year. Its chief executive says so far the company is seeing sustained consumer demand. For more stories, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm Cheryl Casone.
A community college in Arizona is offering a new certificate program aimed at teaching students the business side of marijuana. Anita Roman has more.
Arizona became the 13th state to legalize cannabis after passing Prop 207 back in 2020. Business in our state is booming, and students interested in working in the cannabis industry can now earn college credit and enroll in the Cannabis Business Fundamentals Certificate program at Scottsdale Community College. That starts this fall.
When Prop 207 was passed, we wanted to be proactive and make sure that students have workforce development training and the education to go into this industry. It legitimizes the industry, and it also provides opportunities for anyone interested in the industry or want to learn more to take a class and be trained by professionals.
The Cannabis Business Fundamentals Certificate is open to all Arizona residents. It includes 4 classes: Introduction to Cannabis, Social Equity and Current Events, Supply Chain Management in the Cannabis Industry, and Legal and Regulatory Environment. The new certificate will complement the non-credit cannabis class that is currently being held at the college. Both programs will take 8 weeks to complete. You can do so online or in person.
It's a $1.4 billion were spent in cannabis sales in 2021 in the state of Arizona. And there's so much that goes on from seed to sale. We have growing, extraction, and labs, and retail and marketing. And the rules are different in this industry because of the legal and regulatory environment. So it's important they do get that training because it's not like any other business.
Registration for the fall semester is currently open. Head over to fox10phoenix.com. We have a link with everything you need to know. In Scottsdale, Anita Roman, Fox 10 News.
So let's leave you with a smile. An American toy classic getting a British makeover. In honor of Queen Elizabeth II's upcoming Platinum Jubilee, Mattel is releasing a doll in the likeness of Her Majesty. The Barbie doll is adorned in an ivory gown, blue ribbon, and tiara in a nod to one of Her Royal Majesty's most iconic looks. The Queen celebrates 70 years on the throne on June 2nd, making her the longest ruling monarch in British history. The Queen's doll is a limited edition. It'll be sold at retailers like Amazon, Target, and Walmart. That does it for us. Thanks so much for watching.